Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian DeCassi here, aka Jet95, coming at you guys with another video. And in this video, guys, it is going to be talking about which abilities I think you should be investing in for your offense in Madden 23. Now, for this tier list, guys, I've broken it up. They have it broken up by quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and O linemen, which I will be doing all that. And then next video will be linebackers slash pass rushers and or linebacker slash lineman, I mean, and then coverage like cornerbacks and safeties. So, but before we do get into that, guys, if you guys do like this type of content and want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button below and also leave a like. Both those things are very helpful for the algorithm. I appreciate you guys all being here on Christmas Day to support the channel. It does mean a lot to me. But with that being said, though, guys, let's start off with the first ability, which is going to be Fearless. And I think this is an absolute must-have this year. Linemen shed very, very quickly this year. And, people are also probably going to start using under pressures again because of the fact that, EA is making it to where they're putting out discounts for under pressures. The new Warrant set that's coming out tomorrow at the time of recording this video has 0 AP under pressure. So, yeah, that's going to be absolutely important. Gift wrap I'm putting in the C tier. I really don't think it does much of anything. It gives a pass to, it allows you to complete the pass to your wide open receiver and not drop it, but normally receivers don't drop it anyways. But if they do drop it, if they do not catch the ball, it's just because it goes right through the guy's hands. So, yeah. Gunslinger, I'm going to put in the C tier this year. As I talked about in my lineup construction video, Gunslinger only works on the throwing motion. It does not work with the ball velocity anymore. They have taken that out of it. So overall, Gunslinger is no longer that valuable. You still can use it if you got a quarterback that has a very long windup like Justin Herbert or Mac Jones, for example. If you have one of those guys, definitely look to use Gunslinger. But other than that, I don't think Gunslinger is a necessity this year. Gutsy Scramble, I'm going to put in the F tier. I think this ability is straight up useless because when you try to break out of the pocket and break contains, the linemen will get off their block to chase you down more often than not. And, you're not going to have those opportunities to scramble. So, quite honestly, it's not realistically something that you can deal with. Homer's also going in the F tier. I think this is useless. I would honestly just not even worry about it. Same with these ones like Indoor Baller. We'll just get these ones out of the way. Second Wind, Recuperation, Closer. Where's another one? Comeback, Clutch, Sleight of Hand. I think these are all just useless. Just off rip. Like, I'm not even going to. Tight Out is also fucking useless. But there. Anyways, with that being said, moving on, let's talk about Hot Route Master. I think this is also a necessity on your offense if you're looking to have, those extra hot routes. There's some quarterbacks that can get it for 2 or less AP, I believe. The new Drew Bledsoe for Ghost of Madden that came out, that's coming out tomorrow. At the time of recording this video, when it's already in the game as of when this video goes live. He gets it for 1 AP. So 1 AP to get all the extra hot routes on Drew Bledsoe is a wonderful thing. And I absolutely think you should try to pick that up. Human Joystick, I'm putting this in the F tier for quarterbacks. There is just no need to use this. I don't think you should be using this on a quarterback. You know what? And we'll also put, not Inside Deadeye, we'll put Bulldozer in here as well. Because quite honestly, it is just, and Spin Cycle, it's pretty useless. Identifier, now keep in mind, this is on terms of quarterbacks. I'm putting this in the C tier. I don't think you should be using Identifier on quarterbacks. That takes away the precious ability slot that you could be using for things like Set Feet Lead, Hot Route Master, Fearless potentially. It takes away an ability slot or it takes away a valuable AP, I mean, to where you have to sacrifice potentially a throwing ability. And I just wouldn't recommend doing that. Oh yeah, Jukebox also goes here too. Agile Extender, I'm putting this in the D tier. Only reason I'm not putting this in F is because there's a lot of people that will send defensive back blitzes, so you have a higher chance to shed that. However, the problem is when you do try to shed that, when you do shed that defensive back blitz, 9 times out of 10, there's already another person ready to come and hit you, so you may as well not even like worry about it. But I mean, if you want to give it a try, if there's somebody with like a 0 AP agile extender, then give it a shot. Long range Deadeye, I'm going to put in the B tier. I don't think it's as good as it was last year because I do think overall throws in general are just a lot more accurate, especially with the new placement and accuracy settings for this target passing. I think that overall is just, it helps out significantly more than having a Deadeye would. No look Deadeye I'm putting in the D tier though. Actually, I'll put this in C tier. I think this is actually okay. It does work in the pocket when you're like doing a check down, like you throwing a drag that goes like, say there's a drag coming from your right side and he is on the left and you decide to throw it. That actually does end up being accurate and perfectly placed. So I mean, it could be useful in that situation, but I am not really the most you know, fond of no look Deadeye otherwise. Pass lead elite, I think I'm gonna put this in A tier. I've heard people say that pass lead elite will, if you're especially if you're using the skill based passing system, does make the ball sail a decent amount. I don't know if that's true or not, but other than that, obviously having the extra ball velocity on any type of throw is nice. So obviously having that is really good. QB playmaker, I'm putting this in the D tier. I don't think playmaker is very good this year. Man coverage in this game is just way too overpowered to the point where if you try to playmaker somebody, they will react to it before your receiver does at times, I think. So I am just not going to put QB playmaker very high until I see otherwise. Quick draw, I'm going to put this in the C tier. If you need quick draw, I again, this is just another one of those things where it's like you're wasting AP. In my personal opinion, I think from C down, it either has value or you're wasting AP. Like Slinger, I think still has value. Quick draw, you're wasting AP on it, in my personal opinion. So I wouldn't even worry about the quick draw ability overall. I would just say screw it and let's just move on to a different one. Red zone Deadeye, I'm putting in the F tier. This only works in the red zone, which is like 20 yards in. So like, like it doesn't really matter that much. Quite honestly, it's just completely more useless to me. Roaming Deadeye, I'm gonna put in the B tier. I do think it still has some value. We don't have a lot of discounted roaming Deadeye players. I'm putting safety valve in the F tier, by the way, as well. And also because of the fact that again, you don't really have a whole lot of time to get out of the pocket. So quite honestly, you really aren't going to be using this that much. So I would just say not worry about it. Anchored extender. Now this one I'm going to put in the D tier, the low C tier. I mean, it could be useful. If you got like some spare AP, I would say try anchored extender. It allows you to break the first sack by a defensive back defensive back. The only thing is, again, much like agile extender, you definitely are 9 times out of 10 you're still going to get hit by a big defensive lineman. But again, at the same time though, you'll probably have this activate more often than not. Threat detector on a quarterback, I'm going to put this in the B tier. If you could find a threat detector of quarterback for 1 or 2 AP, I would say it absolutely should go in the A tier. But a lot of quarterbacks have threat detector for like 3 AP, I think, and that is way too much, especially when we have linemen that have it for like 1 AP. I know Randall McDaniel has it for 1 AP, which is a left guard that was in the Legends promo this year. So I would definitely say go ahead and not get threat detector on your quarterback. But if you have some spare AP, I would say probably look into it. Inside Deadeye, I'm going to put in the C tier. Again, much like the other Deadeyes, I think with the new skill-based passing, it does make Deadeyes completely obsolete because if you get perfect accuracy on it, you can just get it down the field, no problem. Lofting Deadeye, whatever. Now, Pocket Deadeye, I'm actually going to put this in the A tier. A lot of your throws this year, I would say about a good 90+% of your throws are going to be coming within the pocket. And obviously having that pocket presence, throwing the ball to either the inside the numbers or to the sidelines are obviously really good. And you know what? Especially on immobile quarterbacks like Tom Brady, for example, I do think Pocket Deadeye could have its use. Protected, I'm putting in the F tier. This is just straight up useless. It is like even for 0 AP, I think this is useless. I still wouldn't use this because it's just terrible. Set feet lead is going the S tier. I think it is the best ability for throwing the ball by far. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what's so different about it from Madden 22 to Madden 23? I think it's just because of the fact that a lot of people got used to set feet lead this year and compared to Slinger or pass lead. I know set feet lead was pretty bad last year, but this year it's actually like a little bit better. So I would say put it here. Sideline Deadeye, I'm putting in the C tier. Um, actually, I'm going to put Sideline Deadeye in the B tier. The only thing about Sideline Deadeye right now is it is 3 AP on a lot of quarterbacks. But it does cover a wider area of the field, like if you're throwing a deep corner or a streak down the sideline or a flat to the boundary, or if you're trying to hit like an outside curl route. Like there's a lot of throws to the sideline that you could hit with Sideline Deadeye. I just think, impersonally, I would rather pick Pocket Deadeye, especially if I'm throwing from the pocket. High Point Deadeye is a straight up F. High Points are already really, really good as it is. You don't need High Point Deadeye this year. It is useless overall. Oh no, this was Fast Break. So hang on. Okay, hang on. Let me refix this. So this is tied out. Fast Break, I'm gonna put in B. Maybe even like high C. It has some use. There are a couple of quarterbacks that do get fast break for 0 AP, like Michael Vick, and I think Robert Griffin, the third, does. It does give you better carrying on quarterback design runs. However, quarterbacks don't fumble as it is, so it really is kind of just at that point. But hey, having the ability to get better ball carrier and speed on design runs is solid. Low Point Deadeye is also going in the F tier. I have not used this. I don't think anybody in the game has the ability to get Low Point Deadeye right now. So there's no way for me to test it and for us to test it and know. Dashing Deadeye, I'm putting in the D tier. I don't like Dashing Deadeye this year. It's worse than Roaming Deadeye because obviously it has a yard limit. And again, much like Roaming Deadeye, you're not going to have the opportunity to get out of the pocket a lot. And then Conductor, I'm going to put in C. I don't think Conductor really does anything, but obviously there are some quarterbacks that can get it for like 1 or 0 AP. I know the Geno Smith that I talked about back in like when it comes to like lineup construction, I talked about him for like a cheap 2 AP set feet lead quarterback. He also does get Conductor for 1 AP, but you have to choose between set feet and Conductor. You should obviously take set feet lead. But Conductor could have some use later on, but right now it's just I don't like it. So let's move on to running backs, guys. Running backs, let's start off with Armbar. This year, I'm going to say Armbar is a A-tier ability. Stiff arms are very overpowered in this game. I don't know why, but stiff arms are just like insanely good. I think it's because of the tackle battles thing overall. Backfield Master, I'm going to put this in the C tier because this is basically an all or nothing type of ability. If you do have a quarterback with hot route master, this ability is straight up useless. You may as well just use backfield mismatch or nothing at all. But if you don't have one, obviously look to pick this up as much as possible. There are some running backs that can get it for 2 AP. I know Edgerrin James, aka player, can get it for 2 AP, just off the top of my head because obviously I use them. But in terms of like other running backs that can get a backfield master, there's a decent amount that can get a backfield master for like 2 AP. Backfield mismatch, on the other hand, I'm putting in the A tier. Obviously, the better route running and catching against linebackers is really, really good. It just doesn't give the hot routes, which I think is more valuable, which is why I would rather have running back apprentice over backfield mismatch personally. Balance beam, I'm putting in D tier. I have not seen people use it that much this year. I don't necessarily think it's that good, so I'm not going to even use backfield mismatch. Bruiser, I'm putting in the B. I'm going to put in the A tier. Stiff arms are really, really good, and trucking has also been universally. I'm going to put bulldozer in the A tier as well. Trucking is normally really, really good, especially if you're going up against a smaller defensive back or a defensive player. You could just truck over them and get a good get some good yardage after the run, after contact. There is some running backs that can get it for 0 AP. I know the new Marshawn Lynch that's out now has Bruiser for 0 AP. So you can look to pick up that Marshawn Lynch if you want a free Bruiser back, which I more than likely will have by the time this video is out. So it is what it is with that. In terms of other abilities, Second Wind I think is just straight up useless. I would not even touch it. Evasive, I think, is an S tier ability this year. Evasive is really, really good, especially on next gen. with those jukes and spins, especially if you can hit that nice double juke that people be doing a lot, which I have yet to figure out how to do properly myself. So if you know how to do, if you a comment section are watching this video and know how to do it, put it in the comment section below to help those who don't know. But definitely like Evasive this year. I think it's very, very good overall. Grab and Go, I'm putting in the B tier. I've heard some positive things about Grab and Go. I just don't necessarily think it's one of the better running back abilities in the game. Human Joystick, I think, is a D tier ability on current gen. But if you have last gen, like Xbox Series, Xbox 3, what the fuck is it called? Xbox One, then it's an S tier because it's one of the best abilities in the game. Jukebox, I've heard a lot of good things about as well, so I'm putting in the A tier. Getting a very amount of good jukes is pretty solid, and being able to make people go like left, right, and center is also really, really solid. Is also very fun to do. Leapfrog, I'm putting in the C tier. I think it's worse than last year. I still think it's solid. Obviously last year Leapfrog was really, really good, but this year not so much. Matchup Nightmare, I'm putting in the B tier. In the F tier, I mean, there's no reason to ever use this on a running back when you have backfield mismatch and backfield master that do the exact same things. Running back apprentice, I'm putting in the S tier. Obviously, I prefer the hot routes over the route running and the catching, because the routes that I call out of it, the angle route and the Texas route and the flat routes that I like to call, are very good man beaters already. Like the flat route is very, very good. The Texas route especially is very, very good against man. Reach forward, I'm putting in F. I think it's just straight up useless. Don't use it at all. It's terrible. Red zone threat on running backs is also going in F tier. There is no reason to put a red zone threat on your running back at all. Return man. Now, if he's your kick returner, I would say B. But otherwise, I would say just completely useless. So I'm going to say C tier. If he's your returner, obviously use it. But if he's not, then don't worry about it. Route tech, I'm putting in the F tier for route tech because, again, backfield mismatch and master do the exact same things. And even then, I would rather use different abilities coming up. Second wind, I'm putting in F. I think it's useless. Playmaker, again, also goes in F. I think it's also just not very good this year. Tank, I'm putting in the S tier. Breaking any hit stick tackle is fantastic. As a people love their hit sticks and love to try and force those fumbles with those enforcers and crushers. If you got somebody with a hit stick breaks a tackle with a hit stick, you got somebody that can break hit stick tackles, that is obviously going to be really, really good. Slot-o-matic goes in the F tier, obviously. Spin cycle, I have not heard many good things about spin cycle, so I'm putting it in the D tier. I don't think it's useless, but I'm putting it in the D tier. And then short in and out elite, or short in elite, I'm putting in the A tier. It's kind of like a mini backfield mismatch. Obviously, if you had a cheaper short in elite that compared to backfield mismatch, take the short in elite because it is cheaper. But obviously, I would take the backfield mismatch more. But short out, I don't think is very viable, just because a lot of the running backs routes break inside the numbers, so you're gonna have those light up more than if he was lined up on the outside. Next, we'll go to wide receivers, guys. So we're rounding out here. We got the wide receivers, and then we got offensive linemen. So for wide receivers, start matchup Nightmare. I think this is not very good at C tier, so it goes in the C tier. I just don't think it's very, very usable. Mid in elite, I think is useless. Actually, I'm gonna put in the F tier. I don't honestly know what it breaks on. And same with mid out. I don't know what those break on, so I am just not even gonna worry about it because, quite honestly, why would you use it when you have other better route running abilities? Outside apprentice, I'm putting in the A tier. It's good for those deep skinny posts and those C routes, but other than that, I think you know what? I think because of those alone, I'm putting in there. Playmaker, again, useless. Reach for it. Recuperation, useless. Closer, second wind. We're getting rid of all the useless abilities here real quick. Homer, Energizer. I think that is all the useless ones. Comeback. No, we got that one. All right. So red zone threat. I'm going to put this in the A tier. Red zone threat is a very good ability this year. If you got one-on-one coverage on the outside, mainly I would put this on the outside receiver. I would not put it on a slot receiver. But if you got 1v1 on the outside with your receiver, I would just do the old huck it, chuck it, fuck it, throw up a high point, and let him go up and make a play. Personally, I think red zone threat is an incredibly good ability. There is a decent amount that can get it for discounted. Route Tech, I'm putting in the B tier this year. I don't think Route Tech is as good as it was last year or even in Madden 21. I think Route Tech is pretty bad this year. Like, not bad, but pretty mid overall. Like, I think you could find, like, there are better route running abilities than Route Tech this year, which is kind of sad. Runoff Elite, I'm putting in the B tier. It's actually pretty solid. Like, it actually does sell the run decently well overall. And I do think that Runoff Elite is pretty good, especially against those guys that like to play man. If they don't have on the ball, their man coverage receivers are just not even, the cornerbacks are just not even going to give a crap about, for the most part, about the player running the ball with the ball. Short in elite, I'm putting this in the S tier as well as the short out elite. Both abilities are must-haves this year. Especially short out elite with the recent title update, as I talked about in my lineup ability video, lineup construction video. I mean, the short out elite has gotten a bit of a change. Now it just fries press man deep down the field. When you run like a simple streak, it just fries it. So I think it's wonderful and should absolutely be used. I'm gonna guess this is Slot Apprentice. I think Slot Apprentice is gonna be an A tier ability. Slot Apprentice, getting those posts, corners, crossers, and double moves, I think are really, really good. But overall, I think personally, it's good, but if you could have a Hot Route Master, it's basically not that usable, but make no mistake, I still think it's very good. Slot-O-Matic, I'm going to put in the S tier. I think Slot-O-Matic is better than Route Tech this year. I don't know what it is, but Slot-O-Matic just does more, I think, personally. So we're going to do that. And you also put for Slot Apprentice, put this for Tight End Apprentice as well, because I actually don't have the tight ends one pulled up. But they have basically like a similar ability set. So you can make the Slot Apprentice and Tight End Apprentice the same thing, because they basically are. The only difference is the Tight End Apprentice has angle routes or trail routes. Wide Receiver Apprentice, I'm putting in the S tier. Obviously, getting both outside and slot receiver hot routes at the same time. Very valuable for your offense, meaning you can put them anywhere you want and you can just, be fine with it. Having a wide receiver apprentice wherever is just obviously great. Evasive on a receiver, I'm putting this in C. I don't really think you should be doing jukes or spins with receivers. Because obviously you need them to be, not exhausted. Whereas with like running backs, you can just take them out and sub in a new running back. Grab and go, I like, again, B as well. Jukebox, I'm gonna put in the C tier. Now, return man, I'm going to put in the B tier. Again, if you have a returner that is a wide receiver, obviously put it on him. But if you don't, then don't even worry about it. Spin cycle goes here. Deep in elite is a D tier ability. I don't like it at all. I think it's terrible. Honorary lineman. Now, I'm going to put this in B. I've heard some people actually use this ability, and I've actually heard some people say that it's really good. So I'm going to say B for honorary lineman. Leapfrog, I think, is D tier as well. And deep out elite, I think, is an A tier ability for wide receivers. One of the best abilities for, going up and making a play and agging somebody in the game. I think DeAndre Hopkins and Randy Moss are the only players in the game that can get deep out elite for free. So, so go ahead and pick those guys up if you want. Lastly, guys, real quick, we'll go through the offensive lineman abilities. In terms of linemen, we'll start off all day. I think C, I don't really think it's that good. Edge Pro, I think, is a must-have this year, along with Secure Pro. Both are just absolute must-haves this year. I would say if you can pick, if you aren't picky and want to get one or the other, I would definitely say Secure Pro. Pick up Secure Pro. But Edge Protector is also a very valid option as well. Fool me once. I don't even know what it does, so I'm putting it in F. Lifeguard, I'm putting in the C tier. It was good for a little bit, but then it kind of fell off. I don't necessarily know if it's any good still, but it is what it is. Post up, I'm gonna put in the S tier as well. Obviously, being able to double team and inside stuff or whatever can be very, very helpful. Natural talent is an F tier ability. Matador, I think, is a D tier. Tough Nut, same thing. Unspun, tear proof. Screen protector is an F because nobody uses screen plays. Puller Elite, I think, is okay, but I think it's one of those abilities where if you have it for free, obviously use it. But if you don't, there's no shame and there's no really any issue with not having it. Threat Detector is definitely an A tier ability. Being able to see those blitzers on linemen that can get it for like 1 or 2 AP. Nasty Streak is pretty solid. I actually have been using Nasty Streak this year. I'm going to put it at the A tier. I think it's really good. I've been using it on my offensive line with Jason Kelsey, who gets free Nasty Streak, and it plays very well. So I've been using it and I like it. And then Identifier for me, it's not negotiable. It's an S tier ability. It's a must have on my offensive line. So that is that, guys, and that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to hit the like button below and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, guys. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.